Cheers, guys. Epix 911, welcome to the Gamin' Friday edition of VR News, Friday, September 22nd, 2017. And oh, what a Friday it is, guys. Start of the weekend. Want to clear a couple of things up about a story I did the other night on raw data, some misconceptions that have been floating around based on some comments in the comment section. Now, the reason I address this is the general rule. My gut feeling is when somebody comments something, usually anywhere from 10 to 100 people feel similarly. So let's dispel these. The first of them, operating system. While it's true that Windows 10 is the officially and only supported operating system, it works fine under Windows 7. Tested it myself. I know others who play it that way. Haven't personally come across anything, but yes, you are correct in that if there was an issue, it wouldn't get patched. But hey, if you can get the game gifted or really cheap, it's so good, it's worth taking that risk, in my opinion. But I'm not going to speak for you and your opinions, guys. That'll be your call. The second, though, this one is a bit more damaging, misconception-wise, the whole smooth locomotion. While I personally prefer smooth locomotion, in this game, I actually prefer teleportation because that's how the game was designed. But with that said, it absolutely supports smooth locomotion, and it has since the 0.7 update. First, it was multiplayer, then it was single-player campaign with that big update and cooperative play. Not only does it have smooth locomotion now, you can tweak it substantially, just like with Solus Project. In fact, I'd put it up there pretty much side by side as an example to other devs of how you offer multiple forms of locomotion. So if that's been holding you off from getting raw data, the fact that you thought it was teleportation only, not the case. Grab the game when and if you can. Absolutely. With that said, let's jump into the first story. This one regarding the mixed reality VR HMDs from Microsoft and its suite alliance of partners. One of the remaining question marks for the partners and the products has to do with the functionality of the tracking. Sure, we've seen their version of Oculus Home and, some basic applications, and it seems to work okay. And the feedback seems to be that it works okay. But what about gaming? Well, Jamie Feltham of UploadVR, he was able to try SuperHot VR, a game that I happen to enjoy very much. But I also think it's a good game to base how good the tracking is on because it is fairly fast paced, especially as you progress through the levels. Now, Jamie tried it on my favorite, the Dell Flusher model, and here's his feedback after 3 levels of the game. I had significantly less issues playing here than I did with the PlayStation VR version, which I still love. For the most part, the headset's inside-out position tracking responded just as I would expect. Leaning out of the way of bullets was mostly smooth and identical to moving when tracked by the Rift and Vive solutions. I say mostly as there were 1 or 2 times that the screen would freeze mid-action, though a Dell rep had already said they were having some issues with performance on their demo PC. Otherwise, some slight jitters, but the headset corrected itself almost instantly. So that is very promising. He had some issues with the controllers, though. We kind of have known about that they function best in front of you. So he had to, take some extra precaution during the gameplay to ensure he was holding controllers in front of him and picking them up that way so as not to have them disappear. And a slight issue with throwing stars on occasion throwing automatically, which may be a bug and software related and not have anything to do with the tracking. Next up, I don't think this is a surprise. We've said this from the first early VR news shows. I said there are going to be casualties. There are going to be products and companies that fall to the wayside. And we've seen a lot of them. Well, add Intel's Project Alloy to that heap. So we questioned the product quite a few months back when Microsoft and its HMD partners started unveiling their plans, questioning if there was still room for Project Alloy. Looks like our doubt and Intel's own doubt taking parallel paths because they released a statement saying they were canceling Project Alloy. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just some bulleted points, starting with Intel has made the decision to wind down its Project Alloy reference design. However, we will continue to invest in the development of technologies to power next-generation AR, VR experiences. Project Alloy served as a great proof of concept for Intel and the industry, showing what's possible in a high-performance, immersive, and untethered VR experience. What we've learned through Project Alloy will inform future efforts. So there you have it. Project Alloy, rest in peace. And next up, HTC Vive, not wanting to feel left out apparently by not having a social VR application partner. That ended today, actually yesterday, September 21st. HTC has partnered with VR Chat, which itself launched on the 21st via Viveport. The VR Chat team announcing that they were joining forces with HTC Vive and that HTC Vive would be a key investor and strategic partner. In fact, HTC were the main investors of VR Chat's recent funding round to the tune of about $4 million US. Their aim is for the partnership to grow VR Chat within the consumer and business enterprise space. Graham Gaylor, who's the CEO of VR Chat, stated the following: "Our goal is to enable anybody to create their own social VR experiences. Partnering with HTC gets us that much closer to achieving that and driving social experiences for VR forward." All right, and our last story, only fitting that on a Gaming Friday, we start off, or rather leave off, with some gaming news. Not really news, I've talked about all these games, just a quick recap on what is available as of today for the various big platforms. We're going to start with Project Cars, of course, the VR version, available today, $59.99 US via both, or for both, Rift and Vive. And if Myst-like adventure games are your thing, or Abduction if you've played that, Zing the Land Beyond, despite a delay of a couple of days, launching today for $19.99 US, also Rift and Vive playable. And I'm going to sound like a broken record with this one, but again, another Rift and Vive game, Serious Sam: The Lost Hope, available for both of those, $29.99 US. And if all of this sounds like a bit of a love-in for the Rift and Vive, and you are a PlayStation VR owner, fear not, a couple of games for you as well, or I should say us as well, having that unit. The Solace Project, $19.99, and space shooter game, HOTAS compatible, The End, also available for that same price, $19.99 US. Well, guys, that is it for the Game Friday edition. Hopefully you guys are having a kick-ass Game Friday and a fantastic weekend to boot. As always, guys, cheers.